Hello! Learning for Hope is hosting an online event consisting of panelists who will be able to advise individuals who would like to enter the tech industry. Here's one of our panelists sharing their journey in tech. If you would like to have your questions answered about how to join the tech industry, as well as learn more about the online event, please visit events.learningsforhope.org.
Hello, my name is Cherie and I'm a software engineer at Meta. What inspired me to pursue a career in tech? I would have to say I was, as a kid, always interested in mathematics, physics. Anything with an equation that can be solved in a logical manner would always bring me joy whenever I solve these problems. I like puzzles. So I guess when I got to college, I was looking at the STEM majors because logical problem solving, critical thinking, things that I enjoyed doing. And computer science were one of them that stood out to me, along with mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. And the reason why I picked computer science out of the others is because computer science, I feel like, was a safer option. You didn't have to go out into the field to solve problems. And I think I like that a lot more. So I don't have to put my body in harm's way or anything to solve problems. So I was a computer science major. To be completely honest, going through school as a computer science major did help a lot just because I joined a club called Association for Computing Machinery, and through that club I met a lot of friends that were very, very passionate about computer science, and I'm super thankful that I met them. And really just having that community there for you helps motivate you and inspire you really to continue pursuing a career in tech. And just that persistence is what really kind of helped prep me, because I would talk to my peers and find out, to develop your own app or project, you need XYZ, and then we would discuss further on what other options there are for doing these things. And yeah, just really having that community helps so much with discussing and learning, because you're sharing ideas, and I think that's, for me at least, the best way to learn and progress. And that also helped me develop the soft skills that you actually need to work with other people when you're a software engineer at a big tech company. Doing your own projects would help the most, or that's what helped me the most. Creating a GitHub, which is a repository, a place where you store all your code, and that really helps you collaborate with other engineers or share your code with other engineers. Really, just sharing is how you can prepare for a career in tech. Or you can study on your own, if that's what you enjoy doing. I would recommend using sites like LeetCode to solve very small problems, and you kind of just start from there. Usually coding interviews will ask you those similar kinds of problems. What resources I found helpful for my journey? I would recommend LeetCode or HackerRank, whatever you prefer. When I was studying for interviews to get my foot in the door, I used LeetCode a lot. I subscribed to their monthly plan, and I'm not trying to you don't have to. You can just get the free plan. And then you just solve problems once a day, I would recommend, but whatever you feel comfortable doing is great. And then I also used another website called Pramp, PRAMP.com, and that helped me with some of the soft skills that I needed in terms of interviewing. What Pramp is basically you take turns with a stranger who's also studying for programming problem interviews, or whatever interviews. They have behavioral interviews too in tech. But yeah, you take turns, you get interviewed by them, and then you interview them. And I took it very seriously, and I would write feedback, or you're supposed to write feedback for the other person at the end of the interviews. And they give you feedback, but I would always write a very lengthy feedback for that. So yeah, I would recommend Pramp. It'll probably help you, since it is a stranger still, it'll probably help you, like, if you need help with the nerves that you get from interviewing, and it'll give you an understanding, since you're also taking turns being the interviewer. It gives you insight on what the interviewer would be looking for, so you know what to give them when you interview. So one of my bigger challenges, I would say, is just staying motivated. Usually when I'm working on bigger projects or I get stuck on something, it's really hard for me to stay motivated and keep going. And most of the time, you just gotta talk yourself through it. There's always gonna be problems like this, so I don't know. You shouldn't go into tech thinking that everything's gonna be perfect after you get a job, because you'll always run into problems that you're gonna be stuck on, and you're gonna be stuck on them for maybe a while. And you just, I guess this is what you get better at with experience. Unblock yourself, figure out who to talk to unblock yourself, and making sure you're working on the right thing also helps. One of the biggest misconceptions that I had about going into tech was that I wouldn't have to work with anyone. I would just solve problems by myself and get things done. But that is not true. You have to work with people and you have to communicate with people. Maybe not in all the fields, but at least for the fields that I wanted to work in, I had to work with people, I had to communicate with people. It's very, very, very important. So work on those communication skills. This is kind of a hard question to answer, because I don't think there is just one big mistake that I made in tech. But I would say something that I have a bad habit of is not asking for help. Really knowing when to ask for help is kind of a balance. But I guess like a good rule of thumb that I have is just working on something, like setting an amount of time you think it would take you to find out some information or work on something, and if you work by yourself on that item and you haven't finished it by the amount of time you think you needed to finish it, then I would say maybe ask for help. But yeah, definitely not asking for help is one of my bigger mistakes or like issues that I have in tech. So I guess one of the advice is to be very honest. The biggest thing about going into tech is figuring out whether or not you want to go to tech. But let me just loop this back around, because the most important thing at the end of the day is whether or not you are happy and you are doing what you want to do. There are a lot of perks when it comes to working in tech, and one of them, like the motivation, if you're money motivated, you can get a lot of money working in tech. So there's that. But I have friends that worked in tech and they left the industry because they were not happy, and that was not what they wanted to do. So I suppose my advice is you should be doing what you want. And if you want to try out tech, then by all means, please do. And we're here to help and give you advice on how you can get started and move into the tech industry. But at the end of the day, don't feel pressured to do something that you don't want to do. It'll just make you unhappy, and that is going to sound cheesy, but happiness is really the biggest thing, or at least your mental stability, emotional health is the biggest thing. It's very important. So yeah, try it out. Don't feel pressured. Try it out. If you don't like it, that's cool. At least you tried it and now you know it's not for you, or now you know it is for you, and that's great. We're here to help. But yeah, that's all.